In the late 1920s, while he was going to USC playing football, Marion Michael Morrison used to go to the studios in the summer looking for work. And one day, the already veteran director, John Ford, hired him for a picture as a prop man and goose herder, later for bits and small roles. Duke, as they nicknamed him, became a part of the Ford family. Then director Raoul Walsh saw him on the lot, liked the way the kid walked, a slower version of Ford's rolling walk, and in 1931 cast him as the lead in a Western that flopped, but gave the young actor, now called John Wayne, a career for 10 years doing over 100 B-Westerns. In 1939, over the producer's angry objections, they wanted Gary Cooper, John Ford cast Wayne in Ford's first sound Western. Overnight, John Wayne became a major leading man in pictures, and the film became the classic Western by which, for years, all subsequent Westerns were measured. Stagecoach. For a documentary I did, Wayne told me how he'd reacted when Ford asked him how Wayne had liked himself in the first dailies he'd seen of Stagecoach.
He said, how are you? And I said, well, I'm playing you. You know what that part is.
But it wasn't until the late 40s that John Wayne really found the character that would immortalize him, the gruff, tough, often mean, often bad-tempered, sometimes sentimental, but certainly unregenerate older man, a character that was in some ways like Ford's persona, and a role Wayne first played while still young in Howard Hawks' first Western, Red River, which was so influenced by Ford that many people think Ford directed it. And when complimented on the picture, Ford would say, "Thank you very much." Not to be outdone, Ford cast him as an even older man, the retiring Captain Brittles, in part of his cavalry trilogy, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon.
Never apologize, mister. It's a sign of weakness. Mr. Cohill, I see no reason why Mr. Pennell should not go picnicking.
It was this tough Western character that Wayne played again for Ford in The Searchers, which we seem most to associate with Wayne today. Released in 1956 and not a success at the time, it is arguably not only Ford's best Western, but Wayne's best performance. He must have liked it himself since he named his son Ethan after the character he played.
I'm mighty fishy about this trail, Uncle Ethan.
Don't call me uncle. I ain't your uncle.
Yes, sir.
Don't need to call me sir either. Nor grandpa, nor Methuselah. I can whoop you to a frazzle.
What do you want me to call you?
Name's Ethan.
I first met John Wayne about 9 years later, in 1965, while he was on location for another Hawks Western. We spent over an hour talking about movies and directors, and when he was finally called away for a shot, he said, "Geez, it was good talking about pictures. I mean, the only thing anybody ever talks to me about these days is politics and cancer." It's true that Wayne was often judged not by his work, but by his politics. And although he won the first 2 bouts he had with cancer, it would finally kill him, as it did his favorite director. The last picture they made together, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, released in 1963, was one of their most resonant.
Valance couldn't make you run away. What is it now, Pilgrim? Your conscience?
Isn't it enough to kill a man without trying to build a life on it?
You talk too much. Think too much. Besides, you didn't kill Liberty Valance.
What?
Think back, Pilgrim. Valance came out of the saloon. You were walking toward him when he fired his first shot. Remember?
Strangely enough, the most memorable aspect of Wayne's personality and life was a remarkable quality of innocence. Hawks described him to me once as a big kid, and he was in many ways, generous, impatient, excitable, easily moved to laughter, and just as easily to tears. If Ford was the master of the Western, certainly John Wayne stands for the almost mythic man of the American West. Bold, single-minded, essentially alone, ready for any adventure, larger finally than life or death.